Unit 3, Age of Dryden. John Dryden, his lifespan is from 9th August 1631 to 1st May 1700. Introduction. John Dryden was an influential English poet, literary critic, translator, and playwright who dominates the literary life of Restoration England to such a point that period come to be known in literary circles as the Age of Dryden. Walt Scott's call him Glorious John. He was made poet laureate in 1668. His critical works exhibit his immense tolerance and Catholicism. George Sainsbury believed that he established the English fashion of criticizing as Shakespeare's did the English fashions of dramatization. Dr. Johnson goes one step ahead and calls him the father of English criticism, as the writer who first taught us to determine upon the principle the merit of composition. In spite of the fact that they were critics like Sidney and Ben Jonson, Dryden can safely be called the first practical critic in English literature. Dryden's idea of literature. Critics in Dryden's time relied completely on classical rules. They believed that the highest point of excellence was reached by ancient writers. And so, to produce the best writing, one had to imitate the ancients. However, Dryden never agreed with this. He says it is not enough that Aristotle had said so, for Aristotle drew his models of tragedy for Sophocles and Euripides. And if he had been our might have changed his mind. He regarded literature as a measure and mirror of the society. That is reflected the characteristic of the age. His anticipated time in pointing out that each age or nation has its own genius. He also said that every nation or age also has its own temper and climate. These factors affect the literature of a nation. Hence, it is not correct to judge the literature of nation or age with the rule of others. He believes that Shakespeare and Fetchers have written to genius of the age and nation in which they have lived. For though nature is the same in all places and reason to the same, what pleases the Greek would not satisfy an English audience. In order to analyze the merits and demerits as of the writers, Dryden did not just use the classical writers as model. He took into consideration that whole body of writing, classical, medieval, and modern. The essay begins with some primary discussion about literature in general, and Lycidius gives the definitions of the play that should be just a lively image of human nature, representing its passion and humors and changes of fortune to which it is subject for the delight and instruction of mankind. The aim of the poetry, according to Dryden. In Dryden's time, it was believed that the chief aim of poetry was to teach, delight, and move. However, the Dryden considered the capacity of poetry to delight as its greatest asset. He said, delight is the chief. It is not only end of poesy. Instructions can be admitted, but in second place, therefore, he marks a difference from Sidney. He frankly admits that artist's chief aim is to delight the age in which he lived. His idea of limitation. The poet's world for Plato was second-hand imitation for Aristotle. It was more profound reality, and for Sidney, it was morally better than reality. However, Dryden for the first time suggested that a poet would be doing his duty if he only described the life as he finds it. He believes that a poet should take so much only as will make beautiful resemblance of the whole. His idea of fancy or imitation. Dryden used the word fancy and imagination to mean the same thing. He believed that it is a fancy that gives the life touches. But as he lived in an age of reason, he wanted fancy to be controlled by reason and good sense. However, does not propagate sheer realism. He says that Shakespeare play reflects observation of life, however, they are not based on sheer realism. Dryden did not confuse the trust and truth of poetry with the truth of life. He says Shakespeare need not spectacles of books to read nature. He looked in a wall and found her there. Conclusion. Therefore, Dryden believes that literature is an organic beginning which can change along with the taste, fashions, and techniques of different ages. For him, the main aim of the poet is to delight, and instruction is only secondary. A work of art gives pleasure because it appeals to our sense of beauty. For Dryden, a poet is a creator who selects the changes and refashions life, life like a curious goldsmith working on gold. Thus, for Dryden, the final product shall be the one which is conceived by the imagination and regulated by the poet's judgment. For him, the writer has his own genius, which is an imitate part of his personality. Thus, the Dryden broke away from the contemporary mold of criticism to become the first liberal critics of English literature. Thank you.